Hi, I'm Deborah Cooney and you're watching Wellness Rocks TV. One of the things I've really noticed in the last couple of years is that the amount of people that are intolerant to gluten and to wheat. Now I know it's been going on for quite a while, but it seems to be very prevalent now. And when I do my cookery days, those are two items that are left off the list. So all my recipes are gluten-free and wheat-free. There's a couple of reasons for this, obviously because so many people are intolerant, and second of all, I just feel that we eat so many of the same grains over and over again that we need to broaden our horizons and look at other grains and start enjoying other grains and get variety back into the diet. And I do believe that because we eat so much of the one grain, we do build up that intolerance to it. The grain I'm going to be talking to you today about is buckwheat. And despite the name, it has absolutely no relation to wheat whatsoever. It is a gluten-free grain, and in fact, I shouldn't say it's a grain actually, because it's a seed. Now, we'll refer to it as a grain today, and you'll eat it as if it's a grain, but it's actually a seed. And because it's a seed, it's high in protein, which is good news for anyone that is vegan or vegetarian, or if you just don't eat a lot of meat or you're trying to cut back on the amount of meat. This is a nice little substitute, and it's a very digestible protein, so the body can break it down quite easily. It is very high in antioxidants, the main one being vitamin E. So antioxidants, as we all know, help to slow down the aging process. It helps to rid the body of free radicals, which cause DNA errors within the body. Also, it's high in iron, calcium, magnesium and potassium. Another thing that it's got going for it is the fact that it is high in soluble fibre. And what soluble fibre does is it aids digestion firstly, but it also slows down digestion and keeps us feeling fuller for longer, which is fantastic if you want to lose weight or you want to control your weight. It's also a slow burning grain or a slow burning seed, so it will release its energy slowly. This is good news for anyone with type 2 diabetes, because the last thing you want if you have type 2 diabetes is the big sugar high, sugar low. So when it's a slow burning grain, it keeps you fuller for longer and it stabilizes the blood sugar, which is fantastic. One thing that I read about this that I found very interesting about buckwheat is that when it's being grown, it grows really quickly. So the people that grow it don't have to use as many pesticides or chemicals on it, which is fantastic for us because we don't have as many toxins coming into the system. And finally, it's a very warming food. Now, I'm a real cold fish. I'm always feel cold, and I find that I need warming foods. But if you're not a cold fish like me, and even in the summer I would be eating foods like this, you can eat it in the winter for like your internal heating system. It's really good for that. Now, there's lots of different ways to enjoy buckwheat, and it comes in many different forms, and I'm going to go through them with you now. Firstly, in this I have the full seed here, or it's called a groat, and they are just like rice, a little bit bigger than rice, and it's a tanny kind of green colour. Now, the taste of these are kind of slightly nutty, earthy taste. So it's stronger than flours that you'd be used to or grains that you'd be used to, because it has quite a stronger taste to it. You can also buy these in toasted form, which is even stronger again. So I would start off with the mild one and work up. What I do with these guys is I eat them like rice, but I also take them and put them into the NutriBullet and I blend them down into a flour and I make buckwheat pancakes out of them, which are absolutely gorgeous. Another way to use them is you can buy them in flakes, so they look kind of like porridge oatlets. I don't have them here today, but you get the gist. They look like porridge and you can eat them like porridge. So you make them up in the porridge style, or else you can add them to different, you can add them to the oats just to vary the grain in your breakfast. Finally, I have some pasta and some soba noodles here. And the reason I'm showing you all this is because when we hear that we have an intolerance or that we need to use a different grain, we get really shut down and we're like, oh my God, I'm so restricted. You're not. You can still have noodles. You can still have pasta. There's so much you can do with it. When you're cooking the likes of the noodles and the pasta, I would follow the instructions on the pack. For the flakes, just use it like porridge. And for these guys, after a lot of experimenting and messing around with them, because I could never get it right, I I'm nearly sure I have it worked out. So it's always 1 to 2. So 1 cup of, or 1 measure of buckwheat groats to 2 cold water. Now I was using hot water and I found that they just went to mush. So now what I do is I put 1 to 2, put them onto the hob, and I might even mix in a little bit of stock with the water just to give it a little bit of flavour. Bring them to the boil, turn it down, simmer it really lowly, and don't stir it, just leave it sit there like rice, and when the water has been absorbed into the seeds, then it's ready to go. So that's it for buckwheat. You're not restricted when you're told that you have to go gluten-free and dairy-free, or sorry, gluten-free and wheat-free. You can have lots of variety. It's just a matter of getting out there and using it. You will find them in your local health food store, is where I got the pasta and the noodles. The groats, I know you can buy them in the supermarket as well as the health food store, and the flakes, I have only seen them in the health food store. So out you go and start buying and start using them. Please keep sharing, and please keep leaving the comments. They're fantastic and I'm loving it. And finally, if you're not receiving the videos and you'd like to receive them, you know what to do. Just pop your details into the box below and I will chat with you next week. Thanks for watching.